Okay, the first question goes like this. My fiancé has told me that when we get married, he's going to stop my family members from coming to the house. He said this because I and my sister are very close and we always visit with each other. Well, I have told him that that cannot happen, and this always causes quarrel between us. I really like him, but I don't think he should stop my siblings from coming around. So what should I do? Interesting. Okay, yeah, I see someone is ready. Thank you so much. Okay, so I feel like saying that this person is lucky that this has come up already, because I believe it's a pointer to a couple of things that are red flags, about this relationship. First of all, before we even speak about that, may I know why? Do you know why exactly? What is it about the visits from your siblings that he doesn't like? Okay, is it something about the way they behave when they're around you? Is it something about the way they use up resources? Is it something about the way they speak, how they behave? Okay, so you may also want to check that, and you want to be objective when you're doing this. You want to be reasonable too. You also want to try and see things from his side. What exactly is his reason? Is there a valid point? On a normal day, the amount of money you load for your electricity meter, do you load 3 times that because your siblings are around and they put on all the electronics and run all the ACs from morning to night, not caring how these bills are being paid? Okay, you may want to think about things like that. Are they wasteful people? Are they rude? Are they, do they come and speak to him anyhow? Do they give attitude? Are there reasons? Are there valid and genuine reasons why he feels uncomfortable with your siblings coming around? Those are things you want to ask yourself. Okay, but if it is not all of that, then perhaps he's a control freak. He's the kind of person who feels like he just wants to have you at a place, and nothing should contest that. I've known of people who did that in their relationships, and trust me, it never turned out to be anything good. Some of those people had very abusive tendencies, and they successfully shut out every other person who could prevent them from exerting their level of wickedness on this person that they have decided to marry. For some, it's been a lot of hell. Some people don't even make it out of it alive. Okay, so you want to really pay attention to this. You want to pay attention to it. If it is something about the person being controlling, then I would also ask you further questions, because I'm sure if you're true to yourself, you would have seen other indicators that shows that this person could be abusive, this person could be a control freak, and this person could want to manipulate you. Because another thing that such people do is that they ensure that the lady in question is financially handicapped. They make sure she's not empowered, so that she cannot take some of her own decisions. She cannot decide to wake up and move away by herself. She cannot decide to take certain decisions without relying on the partner for endorsement, for support, and even the finances to make those things happen. So you want to really check all these things, right? First of all, I said you want to find out his reasons. Why is he uncomfortable with your siblings around? If there are valid reasons, which as a matter of fact, both of you have to be in sync with, okay, if there are valid reasons, then you want to have those conversations with your family members and let them know that, hey, listen, we cannot tolerate this kind of bad behavior from you guys. If you're going to have to come here, you have to conform to certain expectations. If not, we will not allow you here anymore. All right, and that communication can even come from you, not him, so that he doesn't look like a wicked person. It will come from you. You have to set the rules straight. You have to set the record straight. Okay. Now, sometimes it happens the other way. All right. Sometimes it's the lady who is not comfortable with the man's people coming over to the house. Okay, so there are two sides to it. Sometimes the man is saying, no, I don't want anybody from your family coming here. But sometimes it's the lady who's saying, no, I don't want your people here. Some people also do that. So you see, these negative tendencies we described in the man could also be in the woman. There are women who want to come into a man's life and shut him out of every other thing. Some of them, most of them are for selfish reasons. They just feel like his resources are also going to his family members a lot. So they want to control everything. They want to clip all of that. So that it goes both ways. Whichever way, it is not a great quality, especially when it's not because of the bad behavior of the members of the person's family. Okay, for those who just joined, the question we're talking about is somebody who's saying that the boyfriend has said that when they get, or the fiancé has said that when they get married, he's not going to allow her family members to come over to the house. And she's saying that it's not possible. That's not going to happen, and it's causing them a lot of quarrel. Okay, I've said quite a bit on that. I'm sure you heard that from when you joined. But basically, what I'm saying is you want to find out the validity of those points. Why is there a cogent and a sincere reason there that is not hinged on any personal or ulterior biases? Okay, if there are genuine reasons, then you want to consider that, and like I said, you be the one to communicate that to your family members, that they now have to comply to so behavior. If not, they will not be expected. And as a matter of fact, I hope you know this, that people shouldn't just, when you're married, all right, members of your families can't just show up at your doorstep unannounced. No, they now need to pre-inform you. Yes, they need to do that. They need to pre-inform you. You and your spouse have to be in sync. You need to know that, yes, we're expecting them and it's okay. We can accommodate them for so and so period. All right. Gone are those days where people just show up and say, after all, this is my brother's house. Hey, I can talk to you anyhow. No, that's not right. No. As a man and wife, you guys need to be in sync about who you're giving access to in your homes. If not, you would, by your hands, welcome problems into your home. Problems. And many times you feel helpless because these problems are caused by family members, and you start hearing things like, he's trying to separate me from my family, or she's trying to separate me from my family, when in the real sense of it, it might be your family members who are just a nuisance, for want of a better word. Okay, so you want to check that. But if it's not all of that, then since it's still a relationship, please feel free to shine your spotlight on other areas of his character and his person. Is he a control freak? Is she a control freak? Okay, is he willing to make compromises? You want to look at those things, because it could be a red flag. And if you go ahead and get into that marriage, oh my God, you might not believe what you will experience. You might just become like an item that he has acquired, a piece of furniture. You have no say, you have no opinion, you just do exactly everything that he wants. And if you're finding yourself there, that is the beginning of a hellhole. Okay, so please, since it's not yet a marriage, you want to look very carefully and be courageous enough to pull the plug if you have to. Okay, if you see that this person has tendencies that are more destructive than helpful. And before I move on, let me also comment on something you said, that you have told him that this cannot happen. Oh yes, someone said his background might play a role. Oh, very true. Don't worry, one of the questions I would even speak to will let you know some of the things you should look out for. Okay, because you want to, besides the person you're talking to, you want to know what the orientation of his family is. You want to know what the orientation of his family is towards life, towards women, towards Christianity, towards motherhood, towards familyhood. You want to know what the orientation is. Because those are the influences that are going to be playing out to a large extent in this person's life. If the person has not taken the deliberate step to break out of those kind of mindsets. All right. So I said I wanted to mention something about your own reply. The fact that you say you have told him this is not going to happen and it's always causing quarrel. Okay. You don't want a relationship that is always quarrelsome. You don't want it to graduate into marriage. Now, the point is, if you guys cannot see eye to eye on certain issues before you are married, it's not going to change when you get married. You need to know this. Okay, you really need to know this. And if you guys cannot be in sync, and the Bible says is that two people cannot work together unless they agree. So if you guys can't be in sync in certain fundamental matters, please, it is a clear indication that this is not meant to be a marriage. Because let me tell you what will happen when you guys get married. When you get married, you still think you can hold on to your opinion, but it's going to be exactly what will be causing quarrel between the both of you. Okay, because this person will say, I choose opinion A, the other person will say, I choose opinion Z. And because nobody agrees to compromise, because each person believes the other should be yielding to them, it's definitely going to cause problems. And if the man in the relationship is typical of the traditional belief system that as the man, everything I say is law. You are not supposed to contest what I say. I dish instructions and you obey. Okay, yes, there are people who behave like that in this day and age. They believe that their wives have no opinion, just do what I say do. But what I say to people like that is, you better not be getting married to a lady who is empowered in this generation, because she definitely has an opinion. She definitely does. So if you're that kind of man, you want to go to your village and marry somebody who shares that kind of belief system. But if you're speaking to a young lady in this dispensation who has been schooled, whose eyes are open, who is very aware, then you need to know that you have to be able to listen to what she also has to say. And this is not an endorsement for women not to be submissive. No, the point is you have to respect the woman, you have to respect her opinion, and you need to know that both of you in the sight of God are co-equals. It's only on the face of the earth here that the man, as the husband, as a matter of fact, is given the responsibility as head of the home. Okay, and that headship does not mean Lord and Master. It simply means that somebody is the leader, somebody should navigate the ship. But of course, navigating the ship does not mean subjugating your spouse or subjecting your spouse as though she's a slave or a maid. Okay, I hope that point is clear enough. Let me move on to the next question. I have quite some other ones to share. Okay, now this one is quite a touching one. She says, I'm pregnant for my boyfriend, and he said he wants to marry me, but there are things I don't like about him, and I cannot live with that. She went on to say, well, he did not deny the pregnancy, and I think that is a good thing. He may be nice to me and to the baby, but I'm confused. Should I marry him or not? Okay, let me read it again. She says, I'm pregnant for my boyfriend. He said he wants to marry me, but there are things about him that I don't like, and I don't think I can live with that. But I'm happy that he didn't deny the pregnancy, and he looks like he will be nice to me and the baby. But I'm confused. Should I marry him or not? Now, this is quite a touching question. Touching because if you were in some of the earlier sessions where we spoke about situationships and complicationships, this is one of those things I called a complicationship, where you feel like you've been stuck. Typically, this may not have been your decision or your will, but you feel like you cannot find the way out. You're already too stuck and you can't find the way out. Now, a couple of things are striking to me in this person's question, and I hope you hear. You said that there are things about him that you don't like, and you cannot live with those things. You see, that is striking for me, because I'm going to ask you, so why were you in the relationship in the first place, and why have you stayed this long in the relationship when you know that this person has certain behaviors and characteristics or character traits that you cannot tolerate? And now, to make matters worse, she's already pregnant for him. So, should she marry or should she not marry? This is really a kind of dicey one. But what I want to say is this: think about it critically, because right now it's not just about you and him. There's also an unborn child. Okay, and I would ask you, what kind of support system do you have for yourself if you don't have to get married to him? Can you sustain yourself? Are you earning economically? Can you take care of yourself and an extra mouth? All right. Do you have a family that would accept you with the pregnancy and would take care of the baby, and you can still go ahead and pursue your dreams? What kind of support system do you have? If you already have a good support system, then I would say that you don't have to get married just because you think you have been trapped. Okay, good thing he accepts responsibility for it, but it does not have to become marriage. I'm saying this because people don't know what marriage is. Marriage is not something you get in out of sympathy or out of emotions or just feelings. Marriage is a commitment for life, and this commitment has to be there before you tie the knot, because after you tie the knot, you will find things that will make you regret your decision. I need to say this clearly. After you get married, you will find things that will make you regret that decision or rethink that decision. So you don't want to just go and jump into marriage because I'm feeling good right now, or because he says that he will take care of me and the baby. You don't want to do that. Like I said earlier, if you have a solid support system that can help you take care of that child without demand, especially because you have established that you cannot live with this kind of person, then you don't have to go ahead and get married to him. But you see, this is the point where people start saying things like, I don't want to bring shame to my family, or I don't want, in my household, nobody has ever given birth out of wedlock. Nobody has ever, we don't have any single mom in my family. I think you're realizing that late. If you realize that early, you for not open leg as you dey open am. For the international audience, what I just said is, if you had that thinking at the beginning, then you would not have gotten sexually involved with that person. Because this is what I tell people, especially adults. Sex doesn't happen by mistake. It doesn't happen. You don't sleep and just discover that, we had sex. Yeah, it's not a mistake. You are conscious, you are aware. Unless, of course, you go and get drunk and you don't know what happens, and that's also another irresponsible behavior. Okay, but it doesn't happen by mistake. So at that point where you are contemplating and you should think of the full picture. Think of the entire full picture. What happens if something goes wrong? What happens if I get pregnant? What happens if I contract an STI? What happens if it gets complicated? What happens if I start developing feelings for this guy even though I know I don't like him? What happens if he, after sleeping with me today, tomorrow he goes on to do the same thing with another person? How would I feel? You need to ask yourself all of those questions before you are doing. It's because people you're just consumed with feelings, and that's why I try to attack this thing about feelings. I try to attack it as much as I can. Okay, because that's pushed people into a lot of terrible decisions, and they go ahead blaming the whole world, blaming men, blaming God, blaming every other thing but themselves. Again, I like my signature scripture on this matter. Proverbs 19 verse 3. A man's own foolishness destroys his life, yet his heart rages against the Lord. Listen to me, you are responsible for the outcomes of your life. You are responsible for the outcomes of your life. So before you are taking those decisions, think about it. Am I ready for the consequence of this? Think about it. Think about it. Are you ready for the consequence? There are ways to even prevent some of these aftermath, but then none of these things are 100%. You see, let me say something about God's instruction. When God gives instruction, or everything we find in the Bible as an instruction for us, it is not because he's trying to dull your style, or he's trying to kill your fun, or God doesn't want you to experience the pleasant things of life. No, it is meant, instructions are meant for your own preservation. It's because somewhere down the road he has gone that path, you haven't gone that path, and he knows what it looks like over there, and he knows that, man, if you continue like this, it's not going to be really cool at so point. So don't do this and don't do that. It's not because God doesn't like you. It's for your own good. It's for your own protection. It's for your own preservation. That is why instructions are given. Okay, so if you're driving on the highway and you're moving very fast, and then you see a signpost that says slow down, there is a bend ahead, or speed bump ahead, or slow down, there is a school in front, and you don't slow down, you continue speeding, on high speed, what's going to happen? It's either you're going to veer off the cliff and have an accident, or you're going to run into school children, you're going to commit murder, it's just going to be terrible. Why? Because you neglected the instructions. Even the basic ones that said speed bump ahead, slow down. If you don't slow down, you will run through that speed bump, and depending on the kind of bump it is, it can mess your car up. There are some of them that when you pass through them, you know that this car has seen something. The sound you hear, boom, you hear a loud noise. So instructions are for your good. Please don't be carried away by your feelings. Please don't. This thing will save you a lot of wrong decisions. So for this young lady, I don't even know if any of these things I've said have answered your questions. I think I have to some extent. Don't be confused about it. If you say you cannot live with him, then you don't have to get married to him. Don't let anybody cajole you or manipulate you, for any reason into marriage. If there are qualities you have identified that two of you cannot agree on this thing, then you don't have to. But then, on the other hand, if every other thing is good and fine and you think it can work, well, I wish you well. You may want to go ahead. But like I said, think about the child, the unborn child. Think about that. Think about the unborn child. Okay? And whatever your decision is going to be, let it be to protect that person. Because he or she was not involved when you were in your randy mode with this your lover boy. Okay? That child was not involved. He was not there. He did not ask to be brought into the world. But yet, you did what you did and brought the person in. So please, make sure you have a plan or a preparation for that person. And it's also why God says that sex should happen in the confines of marriage. Because when it's in the confines of marriage, then you are by all means ready to receive a child. You are emotionally ready, you are economically ready, you already have a support system that can bring in new life and nurture it, such that that new baby is not lacking in any form of love and care. Okay, so let me stop there for now and move on to the third question. Now, this third question is a very long one, and I tried to even break it into 3 or 4 parts. I will read the whole question and then I will start answering it one by one. Someone says, what if she's under pressure from family to marry the guy? Thank you for asking this question. You see, let me tell you something. You are the one marrying, it's not family. Let me put it like this. They won't be there with you when he starts treating you anyhow, using abusive words on you, hitting you, doing all of those things that you said you cannot live with. They won't be there with you to go through that. I'm sure the family is putting pressure because they also want to protect their family name. This is where I will say to the family, please drop all this pride of life and this family name and grab your child who has made a mistake. Show her love. At this point, she needs love, acceptance. Okay, not even though you don't support the action that she did, but you have to love her and you still have to hold her close. Swallow that shame, whatever it is. I've heard people say things like, no, you can't bring shame to the family name. See. It is better you manage that shame for just a while and preserve the life of your child than push her into destructive tendencies, and at the end of the day, the same people who pushed her to go and marry the man will start giving her all manner of useless ideas of how to deal with him back, or how to run away from the home. And at the end of the day, you just create a mess with your own decisions because you're not thinking properly. Okay, so please, somebody said, sir, don't forget about the Oscars. clearly, so please don't get under all those kind of pressure. If you know what realities are on ground and you cannot deal with them, you don't have to get in. Find a way to explain to your family, apologize to them, find other parties, maybe uncles and aunties, to intervene in begging your parents to accept you, blah blah blah. But please don't, out of any pressure or manipulation, go ahead and just get married because you are now pregnant. And it applies both ways. if you're a young man who has gotten a girl pregnant, you must not get married to her if you are not ready for marriage. But then if you're not ready for marriage, why did you go and do? Why? Okay, so you people need to have that understanding among yourselves, so that I was going to say something, but let me jump that. Okay, there's another question. It's not the family. Oh yes, it's not the family that will stay in that marriage. So when they are pushing you, you need to know how to be wise and take your own decision. Okay, let me move on to the next question. Feel free to drop your comments and all. I'll respond to it, or other questions too. Okay, so this one is a long one. Let me read it. Kingsley, you said why. You may need to explain the why your why. Okay, which point are you asking why about? All right, so just explain that and I'll come back to it. Okay, somebody says, I want you to look into the area of feelings. Love is not a feeling, it's a decision, like you always say. Okay, while you were speaking, you said that love is not a feeling and it's more than that. Yes, I agree. But then, I want to believe that no man just wakes up and realizes that he's in love. There must have been factors that informed that decision that he or she took, in saying, I love this person. There must have been other factors that came into play for him to come to this realization. So I want you to shed some more light on this. Okay. I see you. Someone says the Bible says, be doers of the word, not other things. Yes, let him who has ears hear what the Spirit is saying. Okay. He said, what exactly is the guy doing that the girl doesn't like? Well, so this is a general platform as per. I don't have all the details. Okay, so I try to answer at a way that it speaks to it generally. But if this is a one-on-one session, then I will dig deeper and know what exactly we're talking about. Okay, so right now I might not be able to answer that question, but with a one-on-one session, one is now able to know what exactly the person is talking about. Okay, but for now, all we know is that she has said, I cannot live with those behaviors. Whatever it is, we have to respect it for now until we know better. Okay, so this person says, what are those other factors that come to play for somebody to just realize that he or she is in love? Whoa, I like this one very much because this is the crux of the matter. Love, feelings. Ooh, I saw that girl and I just felt, I saw that girl and I'm like, wow, I don't feel sleep anymore. She did bust my brain, stuff like that. Now, let me explain something to you. Let me explain very fundamentally. You need to understand this. You see that thing you are calling your concept about love? That concept you have about love is not even your own. It's borrowed. Let me explain what I mean. Now, from when you were a child, you discover that your environment started suggesting all manner of things to you that would represent love. Your environment started, you started watching some kind of movies where, a cute guy will see a cute girl, they will look at each other like this, or they were walking past each other and they mistakenly hit each other, and then something fell, something dropped, and while they were trying to pick it up, they locked eyes on each other, and oh my God, they were so cute, and they just stood up together, and the next thing they are sharing a drink together, and the next thing they are hanging out under the mango tree, and the next thing they are on top bed. And in your mind, oh, this must be love. Now, when you watch that movie, something registers in your brain that, wow, this is what love looks like. You see how the man cannot sleep at night. He's remembering all the moments with her. You see how she's thinking about him. You see all those things and you're like, and the thing is just, like we say in pidgin English, the tottery of belly. It is sweet you. Those things are giving you ideas. Now, the thing is, you go on to now read the novels. You read novels, you read Mills and Bones, you read all those romantic novels, or you watch those romantic movies, and you see all those really cute things. You see how he comes and whispers gently in her ears, how he tucks her hair, behind the ears, and she just goes, oh, that's so cute of me. You see all these nice things. Those things are not bad. All I'm just letting you know is that those things have been conditioning your brain to have an idea of what love is. All of you are you are responding. Yes, Telemondo, Simon, Sunita, all of them. No problem. Fifth trick, it's okay. You see, all that thing has been conditioning your brain to give you a kind of idea of what love is. Now, guess what? I've explained this before in one of the sessions, how the brain works, how that all of these things that come into the brain, they register. You have files in your brain. There's a memory center. There are files for all of these things. So every time something like that comes up, it triggers that part of the brain, and it remembers, because it has committed to memory. Everything you see, everything you take in, it registers somewhere. So every time you see it, it recalls that memory, and it secretes the hormone that makes you feel good. So it gives you that feel good hormone, the oxytocin sometimes, the estrogen rather, the estrogen, it secretes that thing, and it just makes you feel good. It's chemicals, it's that's why it's feelings, right? Because it's hormones that are interacting with the signals that the brain received. Now, all of that is not bad, but it is just a representation that has been sold to you. What do I mean by that? All that feeling is good, but that is not the entirety of love. That is not the entirety of it. Okay, love is broader than that. And like we like to say, love is a deliberate, intentional, willful commitment to somebody else to add value to that person for the rest of your life, even if the person is not reciprocating that value. It is deliberate, it is willful, it is intentional. It's a commitment to somebody else, even if you're not getting it back the way you're putting it in, as per the value. Alright? So, that is what love is. Now, when you decide to make that decision towards somebody else, or that commitment towards somebody else, yes, all these feelings will come out. They will come to bear. Okay, you would experience these things because that feel-good hormone will be secreted, and you will feel good. Okay, you will feel good, yes, when you have made this decision. But if you just rely on those feelings without a proper commitment, that is what would lead to you breaking up when those feelings are no longer there. That is what will lead to those things. That's why you hear people say we broke up. Why? Because I no longer love him, or he no longer loves me, or we are growing apart. Because there was no commitment. It was based on feelings, and feelings come and go. Feelings are temporal. Feelings are transient. They are affected by everything that happens around you. That is why when happy things happen in your environment, you get excited. When something sad pokes the happiness, you get sad. When you hear more sadness, you get depressed. Those are feelings. You don't want your life to be regulated by feelings. You don't want that. You would never be able to make any stable and consistent decision in your life if you are regulated by feelings all the time. You won't be able to make any worthwhile decision. You wouldn't. So you see, you can't just rely on those feelings. And like I tell people, love is not feelings. However, there are feelings of love. Love itself is not those feelings. However, when you genuinely love somebody, those feelings are part of the characteristics that you would have in your heart towards that person. But you can be experiencing all of those feelings, all of those emotions, because of all these external influences that have been imprinted in your mind. Okay, you can be experiencing all of those emotions, but when it comes down to the commitment to this person, you don't have the will to make a commitment. And that is why you will see people who are as it were, in quotes, in love with a particular person. That's this feelings kind of love. But yet they are cheating on that person with another person. There is no commitment, there's no will, there's no intentionality to stay true to this person that they have committed to. It was all about how they felt in their tummy, how the emotions were aroused. And don't forget, when we looked at the different kinds of love, we talked about eros. Eros is that sexual attraction. Okay, eros in itself is not a bad thing because it was put there by God. God is the one who activated that thing because he made man. He put all the hormones and all the glands and all the reproductive system in place. So eros is what makes sure that a man and woman can procreate, which is part of God's commandment to mankind. All right, so it is a good thing. However, there's a proper environment where you should allow your sexual expression to happen, and that is strictly within the confines of marriage. So what happens is, when you start liking that person because of all those things you have put in your brain, the next thing, you start feeling sexually attracted to the person, and you think it is love because of those hormones. If you go ahead and start engaging in sexual activity with that person, the more sexually engaged you become, the more you will feel bonded with this person, because that is what it is meant to be. You will now feel bonded. You now feel like, oh, you say it's my soulmate. You are right. Okay, because your souls are actually connecting and tying with each other. You are bonding. As a matter of fact, in the realm of the spirit, you are being married to that person already, because the act of sex is the final consummation of the marriage covenant. Marriage is a covenant. It's a covenant. It's the highest form of any human agreement existing in the world. It's the highest form. Okay, so when the more you keep getting sexually involved with that person, you see, those hormones will be secreted and you'll be thinking it is love. But guess what? When it now comes to the point where you have to forgive the person when they wrong you, you discover that you can't forgive them. When it's time for you to be committed to them, you can't stay committed. Yes, you still have those feelings towards them, but you still put yourself first. You still do all of those things that are not love. I hope somebody is understanding this. So don't exalt the place of feelings. Those feelings are good, but subject those feelings to the proper interpretation of love. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell yourself that, yes, I feel attracted to this person, but I won't open up my love, my love bank yet. I won't open up my emotions towards you until I have enough knowledge that warrants or that guarantees that you are deserving of my love. In other words, that you are deserving of my vulnerability, for me to give myself up to you totally. And guess what? If you are patient enough, before long you will begin to discover that even that person that says he loves you more than sliced bread, okay, you will discover that, hey, this person doesn't love you that much, just wants something out of you. And the moment they start getting that thing out of you, the love begins to wane. There's a scriptural example for this, the story of Amnon and Tamar, David's son and his stepsister. The Bible says he was so in love that he fell sick. He was so in love that he could not do anything again. And because he was listening to the counsel of young men like him, his best friend told him, pretend like you're sick and let her come over to take care of you, and then you do what you want. And the Bible says, after sleeping with her, after defiling the girl, she begged him that, no, you don't have to do this. Let us get permission and get married. The guy said no, because that is what feelings are about. The moment, what I want, I feel so horny right now, we have to get down. And she's saying, no, it doesn't have to be. But because you are overwhelmed and overtaken by feelings, you go ahead and do those things. And at the end of the day, you start regretting them. As a matter of fact, it was that action that cost him his life, because he was murdered because of that behavior. So you want to think about these things before you are saying that you love people. Are you ready to do something that can kill you in the next 5 years in the name of love? Are you ready for that? Is it really love? Let me move on to other areas of her question, because this is just one. Okay. So I've already answered some part of this. So what exactly is love? What is love without the feeling of intimacy? What is love without the sexual chemistry? What is love without the affection, the closeness, the bonding, the excitement, the happiness, the joy? What is love without all that? Okay, I believe I've already even spoken to this. in the answers I just gave. Okay, so what forms your decision is not those feelings. It is the fact that yes, those feelings are there, but you tell them that, you know what, wait, let's find out some more things about this person. But then, before you're finding out about this person, you're even asking yourself, are you ready to get married now? Are you ready for that? Do you... Okay, I won't get into this conversation because we've treated this in the past videos. What I'll just say is please go back and watch the past videos, so that I can move on this point. But watch all that we have talked about from February. We also started talking about love. You may want to back it up a little. Watch what we said about maximizing singleness, things you should do as a single. You may want to back it up some more. Watch what we spoke about relationships in December, where we said, what ship am I on? We said a lot about all of these things, how to identify the kind of person that is right for you, how to know when you're ready, and stuff like that. So let me just move on for time's sake. All right. Let me leave you with this illustration. For those people who think that you must be driven by your feelings, I like to use this very graphic illustration because it kind of drives home the point. Now, what if this man that you have been so intoxicated with in love, okay, of course you visit him at home and you guys just have all the nice time, but there's this room in the house that he keeps telling you should not go to that room, and maybe he tells you that, well, that's where my mother stays when she visits, so I just like to keep the room for her, so it's always closed, you don't bother checking. But one day you came to the house and then maybe he went out to go and get something, and you decided to just check what was in that room. And when you opened the room door and opened the wardrobe, you saw skeletons of other people that he has killed, and he's hiding their body parts in that wardrobe. Tell me, what that love that you have, are you going to wait and say, oh honey, see what I found in your wardrobe, oh my God, what is this about, can you tell me about this? Is that what you're really going to do? Or will your brain put two and two together and say, so I will soon be the next skeleton inside this guy's wardrobe? That means, what are you really going to do when you have that realization? Are you going to say, because of how I feel about him, I'm going to stay with him, come what may, no matter what, oh, I am in love? Or will you pick race and even block his line so that he will never call you again, and pack from your house and run away to where he cannot find you again? What changed? You found out something that was dangerous to you. It got you scared. It woke you up to a new reality. Now, guess what? If you ascribe this kind of possibility to just every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you're quick to open yourself up to, if you ascribe this kind of reality that this person has, what if this person has the capacity and the potential, or the likelihood to end my life in a terrible way, am I still going to be saying I love him? If you can ask yourself that question, then you will put feelings where it is and go for knowledge. You will find out what this person is all about, what his character is, who his friends are, what his values are. You will go for the weightier things and how cool and sexy he looks and how rich he is. You will ask yourself more important questions. And more so, you will run away to save your life. Okay? So when we say love is not just feelings, what we're explaining to you is that yes, you feel those things, they are valid, but don't let them take the decision about who you're going to spend the rest of your life with or who you're going to get in a relationship with. You want to seek knowledge. You want to know them better. And that's what dating, in quote, is supposed to be. It's that point of friendship without commitment and without sexual gratification. Friendship, you guys are talking, you guys are hanging out. Yes, you spend longer hours talking with this person because for you are trying to get to that point where you are telling yourself that yes, I can move this to the next level or not. You don't get in a relationship because a guy is asking you out. The singular fact that he's asking does not mean you should say yes. No is also an answer. No is also an answer to someone that is asking you out. It doesn't even have to be, let me think about it. If it is no, it is no. Alright? But some ladies, once somebody is asking you out, you have already entered the relationship. He asked me out. You have already entered the relationship. You're already doing nights in his house. You're already doing weekend. You're already cooking. You're already giving him wife benefits. Then tomorrow you say somebody broke your heart. You broke your heart when you decided to throw it at him. The Bible says you don't give pearls to swines. You don't carry your treasure and give it to the pigs. You don't do that. But that's what happens when you are allowing your feelings to take the decision of a lifetime partner instead of knowledge, instead of wisdom, instead of understanding. Okay, so just to help you, you said what are those things that how do you get to that point where you now say you want to love? All right, so what you do is you will start asking yourself questions, and in your interaction with him, you're looking out for different things. Spiritually, are you guys of the same faith? Do you believe the same thing about God, about your faith? Listen to me, both of you can be Christians and still believe absolutely different things about God and about fundamental things in your Christian practice. So you also want to check that. The fact that he goes to church does not mean that you guys are spiritually on the same frequency. Okay? There are all manner of doctrines and all manner of interpretations of scripture and all manner of practices all under the name of Christianity. So if you don't know God for yourself and know what is right, okay, you will not even be able to identify what is false from what is true. So because the person says I'm a Christian, you say, okay, after all, he too is a Christian. I hear people talk about fear of God, and I ask them every time I hear that in here, I want somebody who has the fear of God. I ask them, what does it mean? What exactly do you mean by fear of God? Most times they're not even able to answer. They say, hey, you should fear God, you should fear God. And then I ask them, okay, do you fear God? How do you know you fear God? Because you don't even know what they're talking about. Okay, if you really understand what your relationship with God is, it's not even fear you'll be talking about. Yes, I know you will talk about reverence of God, yes, but what is the understanding of the fatherhood of God to you? Do you have that understanding? Okay, how has it translated to the decisions you make? How has it translated to what you are doing now and what you refuse to do because you understand that you love God and you have to live according to his values? You see, so you need to even understand that first, and then you're checking the other person too. Are you guys on the same frequency on that? What kind of family is he from? Oh, of course, you want to know what his family is about. The fact that they have money, you want to know, is it true fraud? Are they criminals? Is it blood money? Or is it legit? Is it legal? Okay, you don't want to get married into a family that will close you up to every opportunity in life simply because you present that family name. Do you know that is happening? Of course, that is happening. Many people are being disenfranchised because of the names that they have married into. Oh, somehow I wasn't even seeing all these comments since my screen was just frozen one kind, but I've seen that a lot of comments have gone on. But I'm about to close now, so I might not even be able to read through all of this. Okay, so you want to ask yourself, okay, what are his values? Who are his friends or her friends? Because a person's associations, a person's closest associations is an indication of his value system and character. So you want to know who are their closest friends. Okay? You want to know all of those things. And you can find out all of those things without sleeping with the person. Because relationship is almost synonymous to sex these days. Once you say we are dating, it means that we are naked. It doesn't have to be. And that is why many people's decisions are clouded. Because once sex gets involved, it clouds your judgment, it clouds your perspective. Okay, it begins to suggest things that are unreal. You begin to take decisions out of those emotions, those feel-good emotions, rather than out of a proper consideration and proper analysis and proper thinking and proper inquiry and proper guidance. Okay, there are people who go for counseling or who seek counsel from their pastors or mentors, and then your mentor tells you don't do this, but because you are already sexually gratifying yourselves, you find it hard to say no to that person. Okay, take note. Proverbs 19 verse 3. A man's own foolishness destroys his life, yet his heart rages against the Lord. It's not God though. It's not God. It might just be you. Like Rewari Pikin will say, use your HQ. Alright? Go for knowledge more than gratification. More than emotional gratification. Go for knowledge. go for understanding. When you go for those things, then if the person checks out in all of those qualities, then you allow those feelings to begin to express themselves gradually. And then you moderate them until the person demonstrates he wants to get married to you. And he demonstrates that by going to your parents, by doing all that is required, and actually getting married to you. Then you open the full boils of your love and let it all out. That's why you can sing, I pour my love on you. But don't pour it on somebody that is not deserving. Until you have gotten that level of conviction in your heart and knowledge and understanding, then you can go ahead and open up all of those feelings. Okay? There were even more areas of this question, but I think I need to stop here because of time. Okay? Somebody asked a question. He said, sir, a lot of ladies say they don't have any close friends. That's a kind of lie. How can they not have any friends or any close friends? You want to look into that more. Okay, at least one or two persons. Come on. At least there should be one or two persons. How did you go through life and you don't have any friend? In fact, if the person does not have any friends, please don't go and be the first friend. Run away. For the person who use depression or whatever bad quality he or she has and rope you inside. How can somebody not have friends? In your walk through life, are you saying that everybody you have met has betrayed you? Are you saying that everybody you have met have been bad people? Are you saying that is all? No. If that is the case, well, you want to. The point basically is you want to know more about that person. You want to find out why really this is the case. If it is true that she doesn't have good friends or close friends around her, you want to know why that is the case. And if you find that it's possible that certain people, because of certain experiences, they can't trust people, they can't open up themselves to people, so they rather stay on their own. It's possible. You want to really dig into that and get to the root of it so that you know how to proceed, and how to now be a true friend to her without joining the list of people that have betrayed her and made her not to have friends. So you want to look into that. Thank you for asking that question. Alright, so I will need to stop now. It's already time. Thank you all for participating. Thank you for the comments. Thank you all for keeping it real. I wish I could take more questions, but I cannot right now. Alright, but if you have your question, also feel free to drop it in the DM of just our handle here in the DM. Drop it in the DM. We'll reach out to you. And like I tell people, you can also request for one-on-one sessions. I'm available for that. All right, thank you guys. Have a wonderful rest of the evening and rest of the day wherever you are. God bless you.